Ladies and gentlemen, the conference of the workshop, as you may have heard from the two eminent speakers this morning, has come not a day sooner. We have been talking a lot now. If statistics have any meaning, what my friend Joint Secretary Education, Mr. Sharda Prasad, mentioned is something very revealing even for me. Let me also take you people into confidence. Yesterday, most of you may not be aware, I had a little bit of an idle time to spare, and I was watching the TV on the Lok Sabha, and I was surprised to find the awareness on the part of many of the MPs who have been talking about the need not only for education in the rural areas, but the need for improving the quality of education, and also some of them mentioned about the need for the ICT involvement in education. This is a very encouraging type of news, because normally, I always visualize, with all due respect to many of my friends MPs, they try to be only violent or shouting inside and going away. But yesterday it was something. Now, I have only one or 2 points to mention before formally proposing a vote of thanks. We are talking about the PPP, yes. PPP in all sector and in education also. I am very glad that the government is paying a lot of importance to it. But I thought that unless you focus it with a quantified target and a qualitative performance, nothing. We'll be only having many more workshops and we'll be discussing this particular point. And I am glad that the IFC has done some experimental projects, including the one at Baroda, as I have seen. And perhaps amongst all other sectors in this country, education is one where the public-private participation would attract, because education, more than whatever it contributes, the philosophy, etc., is also viewed by the private sector as a business. And I think the involvement of a lot of the private sector would be there. The second point I wanted to ask, to mention about, is on the IITs that he has mentioned, and the need and the present one. The skill upgradation is something very, very important. Of course, IGNOU is doing something on that subject. And I was only thinking that if you can make these IITs industry-centric, Say, for example, we have got hundreds of coal mines over there. So any of these IITs in and around that area make the industry involved and ensure skill upgradation. That is what we have done. This is right. If you have done it, is why it's good. That, for example, I don't think that there is the IGNOU has been mentioning something about the skill upgradation in the army. They are also doing something in the coal sector. But there is a need because the demand in this country is so enormous. And it will. Another thing yesterday I learned from various other places is statistics, the youth percentage, and today also you mentioned, both of you mentioned about this, that is the strength of this country. That I think if figures have any meaning, 40% of the population or below 30 or 35 or whatever it is, the youth percentage is something enormous. And if they are to be trained, educated properly, that goes to the growth of the nation. And I find that this workshop is, as I told you, has come in the right and opportune time. And we are very grateful to Mr. Sharda Prasad and Mr. Malhotra for having contributed substantially in the inaugural session, and also for the very interesting interaction that we saw. And the whole of the day I'm sure this interface would continue, and at the end of the day, I'm sure that this workshop would come to some workable, practical solutions. And thank you all very much.